Words in football. You know what that is? NFL Divisional round. Big Sills here, and I will tell you this is the best week in the National Football League for the year, are the divisional rounds. Welcome aboard. I appreciate everybody hanging in here with us. Don't forget, check out our great friends at BetUS. We are powered by the next 4 hours and the next 4 hours with our friends at BetUS. And we always start the program out with Big Sills, and we appreciate you coming here on a big-time Tuesday. Interesting game last night. We'll get to that. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. First 15 minutes are one of the most important times that we can spread the show, which you have, which is absolutely insane in how much the show has grown. And I can't thank you. Super chats go to the top. Thank you guys again for what you've done for growing the program. And I'll say it again. You guys grow this bad puppy. It's one of the very few places left, especially in Philadelphia, where guess what? Like I said, we had Angelo Cataldi on yesterday, and Angelo is a gigantic Jalen Hurts guy. I'm not. We don't put hosts or we don't put guests on this program to agree with me, just like for you guys, man. I don't block you guys. You guys have every opportunity to come on this program. No question about it, okay? Okay? Nobody warned me about Sam Darnold. I've been fucking telling you the whole time. Let's see what he does. Nobody warned me. However, here's the point. Quarterback last night didn't play well, right? Vikings got crushed. That's not the case for Philly. Quarterback doesn't have to play well. That's what I was talking to you about the other day, about latitude. The Eagles have the most latitude at any team left in the NFL playoffs. Your quarterback doesn't have to play well. Your quarterback just doesn't have to turn the ball over, and you're going to win ball games. Case in point last night. Darnold shit the bed last night. Probably cost him the last 2 weeks. And I do think the Lions beat the shit out of them into 2 losses. And that's what that Lions team did. They beat them up so bad it cost them 2 L's. Sam Darnold lost a shitload of money the last 14 days. He has lost himself a boatload of money, okay, the last 2 weeks. So it now makes that move look a little easier for the Vikings if they want to go to J.J. McCarthy in the offseason. His body of work was fantastic this year. 14 wins, had a really great season. But at the end of the day, this is about winning Super Bowls. It's not about having great regular seasons. How you doing? Okay? This is about, is he good enough to win a Super Bowl? And who knows if J.J. McCarthy's even good enough to play in the National Football League yet. Nobody knows that yet, if he's good enough to play in the league. No one knows. Obviously, started the season out with an knee injury, so we'll find out. And it would make that move a little easier for them to be able to move off of Sam Darnold now in the way he's played the last 2 weeks. But once again, there's the indictment on – it's not really an indictment. And, some of you will take this – probably some of you will take this as a negative. The quarterback doesn't have to play great in Philly. Every other team in the National Football League during the divisional round, the teams that are left, their quarterback can't play like Hurts did on Sunday and win. Eagles can. That's how good your roster is. That's how good your team is. I mean, it's plain and simple. You know the first thing people did? They started tweeting at me going, hey, Sills, look at Darnold shitting the bed. Okay, it made my point. In Philadelphia, the quarterback does not have to play well. He just doesn't have to turn the ball over. Listen to what I'm saying. He doesn't have to play well. He just doesn't have to make the critical mistakes in the game. And that's all they're asking him to do, is not make mistakes and make a couple throws in the game to move the sticks, get some points, let us play defense, and let us run the clock out. Is that a philosophy that's going to win the Super Bowl? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Now, how Detroit plays against Washington will be interesting to watch. Detroit's playing the best football of any team right now. They're playing the best. I mean, I don't know what Kansas City's going to look like. Then again, I don't care if Kansas City wins a playoff game by 1 point in these next 2 games in the AFC side of the bracket. I don't care. That football team has built the equity up with me with that quarterback that they can do no wrong until they do wrong. Patrick Mahomes has solidified his resume. All he could do now is enhance it. See, when you're great like that, nothing can hurt his legacy now. Nothing. Nothing but something off the field could hurt his legacy. Right now, I mean, he's playing to expand it. Okay? He's playing to expand his resume. That's where he is now in his career. Okay? Hey, and by the way, I wouldn't be worried about the Lions right now. I'd be worried about the Rams. Rams last night. We're going to get into who the Rams are. And let me say this to you about the Rams. I agree with Vic Fangio, who spoke today. We'll talk a little bit about what both Kellen and Vic Fangio said today when they addressed the media. I think the Rams have definitely gotten better. And anytime that you have younger players, you're going to get a lot of growth and you're going to get a lot of good football late in the year if your football team is well coached. That's a well-coached team. Do I think they have the resume that the Eagles have? Absolutely not. Do I think their front seven is small? I do. Okay, I do. I think they drafted exceptionally well. 3 starters are rookies on that defense. Cameron Kitchens from Miami and the 2 FSU kids have been exceptional this year for the team. Okay, and they've gotten better. They have. You're going against a very physical football team, though. And to some extent, I think the Rams are a finesse team. They played with a lot of energy last night. You know, obviously, the whole thing with the California Fires, you know, I think that shit's overrated. I'm not playing for the California Fires. I'm playing to win a Super Bowl. I'm not playing for Los Angeles. That stuff's media made. Philadelphia, I think that works. Buffalo, that works. Those are community teams. The LA Rams are not a community team in Los Angeles. That's the biggest garbage last night. And the network's pretending that the Rams are playing for the folks in Pacific Palisades is the biggest crock of shit going. Philly, I get it. Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Green Bay, places like that, I get it. Don't believe that horse shit that ESPN puts at you. I mean, that was so stupid last night. If I'm playing for the Rams, I'm playing for my teammates and me, and we're going to go win a Super Bowl. I'm not winning a Super Bowl for LA. I'm winning a Super Bowl for my teammates. That stuff is so dumb. If the LA fans cared so much about their team, they fill the arena and the stadium with their own fans every game, instead of the opposing team's fans coming in and owning the stadium at SoFi. Am I wrong? If you had great fans in LA, wouldn't that stadium be filled with Rams fans instead of Steeler and Eagle fans? I mean, did anybody ask anybody that? How come every time I turn a Rams game on, the Rams have to go to a silent count in their own building? I mean, man, I tell you, ESPN lies to people so much every time they do a broadcast. I want to freaking shut it down and just watch the game. These guys are playing for LA strong. I'm like, really? Well, if they had a fucking fan base, they'd fill SoFi with LA Rams fans, and they have never filled that stadium. I mean, you know, if you think the Eagles are a propaganda machine, ESPN's an even bigger one. I mean, it's stupid. Okay? I mean, right. You know what they do? That's a great comment by M. Reyes. They'll go out of their way to embarrass the Eagle fans, but they will go out of their way to take a knee and kiss the ass of the LA Ram fans. I wonder why. You see that idiot that was screaming at that Packer fan? They made it a complete indictment on the Eagle fans off of one asshole in the seats who was being a dick. Really? My engagement with Eagle fans has been some of the most passionate people I've ever seen in my entire life. And they defend that team to the hilt, and they love that team, and they love that city. That's how I look at Philly. I don't look at it any other way. I don't look at it any other way. Shit, you turn an ESPN game on, they will do everything in their power. They will do everything in their power to take a shit on Eagle fans in Philadelphia. They will go out of their way. Okay? Out of their way. By the way, be prepared for Sunday's game. The Fox people are going to go after you. You will be the enemy because they will be blowing the LA fans and LA and Los Angeles. And they will be politicizing the California wildfires. I promise you, you're the enemy. That was plain and simple last night. Oh, the Ram. I'm like, dude, the Vikings also have gone through heartache to have to get to that place. Hey, dude, you know what I would do? If I was Eagle fans, I would take that as a merit badge. I don't give a shit who you bring in here to Lincoln Financial. I don't really care. You want to bring the negative media in here? You want to castrate us? You want to talk shit about one fan in the stands? Come on. I thought it was embarrassing last night, the coverage. The Rams players were playing for the LA fans when they don't have fans. Okay. They don't have fans. Okay? Shit, man, when the Eagles were in that building earlier in the year, they had to go to silent count because of the Philadelphia Eagle fans. But now, all of a sudden, because of the forest fires, the California fires, they have these miraculous, made-up Los Angeles fans rooting for the Rams. Nobody in LA roots for the Rams. Nobody in LA roots for the Chargers. They barely root for the Lakers and Dodgers. Trust me. I've covered them for about 10 years now. It's not true. Nobody was screaming for two NFL teams to go back to LA. Holy shit, was that a train wreck? We'll take a look at those Rams and Eagles. Like I said, Kellen and Vic spoke. Oh, by the way, let's start this out. Let's start this out here. By the way, don't forget, supers go to the top. Do me a favor. Please hit that like button. So are you giving Jalen Hurts a mulligan for his performance on Sunday? Do you want to give him one? Do you want to give him one for how poorly he played? You want to give him a mulligan? Okay. Do you want to give him one? Flagler says a little. Chris says no. Not really, but I hate to be there, but maybe I'm there too. Not really, but what's my choice, Sills, right? Okay. Here. So obviously, this Eagle guy here, nah. F no. No mulligans in the playoffs. Well, you got one. You're moving on. Let's do this. Like I said, okay? You won and advanced. Just like Kamala was busting in voters. They were busting in fake fans. How you doing? Yeah, I buy that. They got fake fans in LA. They don't have fans that really love that football team. Nobody loves the Rams. Again, I want to make the point to you here. Okay, do you understand something? And we pointed this out yesterday to you. And I'm going to show you something here, and I want it to be very clear here. This is not a commentary on Jalen's playoffs. How you doing, Twiz? I appreciate you guys doing it. Hit that like button for me here. Okay. Here's where we are. So let's take a look at this. Jalen's wins. And I'm going to make a point to you. Very simple here on where we are. So Jalen is wins Packers. Let's just add it up and be as I should have did this before the show. 131 on Sunday. 121 versus the 49ers. And 154 versus the Giants. Okay. So Jalen Hurts averages 100. You know what's funny? Every time I say 140 yards, they love the Raiders in LA. They surely do. Every time I point out to Zander when we talk on Fridays, 140 yards and about 50 yards rushing, people laugh at me. Well, he's averaging in his wins 135 yards passing for 3 wins. That's who he is. If Jalen plays and has a Super Bowl game where he throws with over 300 yards, those are oddities. Those are oddity games. Those are not who he is. He's starting to show you what he's capable and what they want him to do. And by the way, is that by design? They're playing him in that system to put up 135 yards rushing. I'm starting to believe that's what they look at him to do. Jalen, give me 145, 150 yards rushing, or passing. Another 50 rushing. Don't turn the ball over. And is that formula good enough to win a Super Bowl? That's exactly who he is. Now, let's do this. Sills. M. Reyes, do it for me. Do the most important thing in what I just said. Okay? Do the most important thing. M. Reyes, do it for me. Put the record up. Okay? Put the record up for us. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button here. So Jalen's averaging 135 yards passing per game. And he's averaging roughly around 35 yards when it comes to rushing. Okay? And as M. Reyes would post, Sills were 15-3. Thank you, M. Reyes. They're 15-3. Is this formula good enough to win the Super Bowl and beat in the next couple games Stafford, the Lions, and Mahomes? Is that good enough? You know the motto, Sills, no excuses for no one, no team. I got it. I'm with you. I'm concerned about Nakobe's knee injury. We'll talk about that. His speed and intelligence will be missed on defense. He often would recognize and call out the plays before it happens. That's why he wore the green dot. Stills, it's a slugfest. We dominate. If Hurts is balling and throwing it all over the field, the game was going to be close. We want a slugfest. Okay. I'm going to ask you the most basic question. And get this. To M. Reyes' point, 15-3. No one has shown they can stop it. Can you win like this, the Super Bowl? Not win. We're beyond winning now. We're beyond winning. This is the Super Bowl. You have 3 hurdles left in a high hurdle 110 Olympic event. You have 3 hurdles left to get over. 3 hurdles. You're 12 quarters away from hoisting your second Lombardi trophy. You can feel it. Is Hurts throwing the ball for 135 yards, 35 yards rushing? Is this style good enough to win a Super Bowl? 5th ring for what? You got 1 ring, Junior. I don't know what world you live in unless you're playing Madden. Reggie says yes, you don't have to have anything. Hey, today on January 14th, that's on your side. Okay? Seals, you don't win a Super Bowl unless you get there. And you don't get there without continuing to win. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Sean. I'm fucking saying something to you, and I'm asking you a question, ding dong. Okay? Rams fill their nosebleed seats with migrants. Timo Stafford jerseys to even the audience pay attention. Man, not good. Jakeem. Yeah. Like an Eagle fan, man. Okay? I mean, come on now. Do I believe the Eagles can win the Super Bowl with this style? No, I don't. I told you this. Okay? But you're not changing. And you can hear Kellen Moore talking. We're gonna go into what the coordinators both said today. So it's only viable if we don't turn it over and get stops on defense. This team can't win a shootout game. It's not capable of putting up 30. It's not capable of putting up 30. You're not a high-scoring offense because you don't have a passing game. You're one-dimensional on offense. That's correct. You're not a high-scoring football game. You're not going to put a ton of points up. Somebody gets out to a 25-point lead, your chances of winning that are not very good. That's why the Rams have to score often early in that game. I don't know if they can. Like I said, we're going to look at it here in a second. Okay? Eagles fan says I disagree. Okay, we're going to find this out, like I said. Okay? Brady's first three was because of him. I think you're saying wasn't because of him. That drive against the Rams with under a minute left to put him in field goal range was not Brady. I watched a different Super Bowl than you. Brady put him in position to win that Super Bowl at the end of the ball game, to kick that Vinatieri field goal. Not sure what you were talking about. Okay? Samuel says, Seals, do you think Jalen or the organization looks at stats between Mahomes in that 2022 Super Bowl and think if Jalen makes the right plays, it doesn't have to look good? No, I don't think that 2022 Super Bowl has anything to do with 2025. They're two different ball teams now, both Kansas City and Philadelphia. You go back and look at ideas and ideology from Spagnuolo and from Reed and play calling situational, but you don't look at really the players because you got a lot of different ball players on both teams. So you got to be cognizant of that because situational play calling will indicate and dictate sometimes what your personnel is on the field. If you got Tanner McKee on the field, you're going to call a different game than you are if Jalen Hurts is on the field. Or if you don't have a particular guy like Goddard, are you going to go to the tight end more with Calcaterra versus going with Goddard? You're probably not going to do that. So everything has to be looked at with personnel that's on the field. That's the one thing that Vic pointed out today about Sean McVay, about how he's got a great feel and knack for the football game and football team. And by the way, I think he adjusts as players get better and players get hotter. I think he's one of the better play callers, if not one of the top two play callers in the NFL when it comes to being a head coach and a play calling head coach. The 22 team could put points. Points is the difference. That's right. The 22 team could put points is the difference. That's right. They could put points up. But they also were a pretty good defensive football team because they also got after. Here, look, I think the front, in my opinion, in 22 is superior to the front in 24. But I think your back end this year is better than that back end in 2022, your defensive backs. I think your linebackers are not now, they're not. Now with the loss of Dean, your linebackers moving forward are not better than 2022. And you can't use Jakobi in that conversation any longer. Your linebackers are inferior now to 22. Your secondary is better, and the front was better in 22. So the front and the linebackers going into the divisional round are superior in 22 than they are in 2024 with the loss of Dean. So, I mean, that's what football is. You've taken a massive hit in how good and the rhythm of the defense will be upset a little bit with Nakobe Dean not being in there. Okay, the 22 front made the secondary better in 22. Yeah, that's probably true because of the volume of pressure and sacks. Get this. So Spike says this. They're not. So you lose to Kobe Dean. He thinks the linebackers right now with Trotter and Oren Burks and Zach Bond is better than two dudes that played in your Super Bowl with 300 tackles. What a fucking idiot. How can you be so blind? And the front is better because you had 4 dudes with 11 sacks or more. How dumb are you, Spike? Are you really that dumb? Tell me. You were dropped on your head at birth. Eagles offense averaging 27.2 points this season, 7th best Sills. No, you're right. You think that they're going to be able to be in a shootout with a team going back and forth. Sure. Okay. I disagree. Okay. Bond has the green dot. Now, look, you are not better now than the 22 linebacking core. You're not. You've lost Dean. Okay? You've lost Dean. How in the world would you imagine that? Only guys that were dropped on their head at birth like Spike would believe that. You must be related to Spike Keskin because he was dropped on his head when he was a young kid. Okay? Half the shit that comes out of that guy's mouth makes you believe that that guy was dropped on his head. Should Tanner and McKee start? Absolutely not. Stop with that. Okay? Stop with that stuff. Tanner McKee is not ready. And Kenny Pickett stinks. Okay? Stinks. Let's get into the Rams and who these Rams are. Sills, could limiting Jalen from turning over the ball affect the confidence of Jalen? Yes. Yes. They don't want me to turn the ball over. They don't want me to turn the ball over. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it until the guy. Jalen throws the ball. Do we not agree? Jalen holds the ball till the guy's open. He doesn't have anticipation throws. He doesn't throw to spots. He throws to open guys. That's why he's late. Okay? That's why he's late. Just doesn't seem like Jalen last year, but the positive, no turnovers. Confidence seems shot. I don't believe he trusts what he sees. Jalen's not going to have the confidence to throw to a spot. Jalen throws to open guys. That's why the slant pass is such a major facet of that offensive passing game. That's why it was kind of critical and kind of shocking it wasn't in the offensive game plan against the Packers. Okay? I thought it was shocking. Hit the like button, guys. Do I think it? Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. Yeah, I would go there. It's his gift and curse, Sills. Okay? Listen. He's doing the most important thing, Twiz. Don't turn the ball over. Do not turn the ball over. Okay? Do not turn it over. Oh, and by the way, for the record, I do not expect Oren Burks to play poorly. Why would I? Everybody that Vic Fangio has put in a game has turned out to be a freaking star. The answer is in front of us. Run the ball, break their will. Jalen doesn't have to be Mahomes. Just be Purdy. Just manage the game. Let the talent win. Defense has to step up now. Just get the W. Anthony, I like it. 2 questions. What do you mean by throwing to spots? And also, what do defenses mean by shrinking the zone? All right, Josh. Hurts throws to open people. Okay? Some people throw with anticipation of when that guy breaks out of his break. And that ball's right there. There's certain guys like Stafford. Stafford throws, and he has confidence that Puka Nacua and also that Cooper Kupp are going to be running precise 15-yard ends. And when he turns, that ball's there. Hurts doesn't throw anticipation throws. He throws to open dudes. That's why he's late and takes sacks. That's why he holds it in the pocket. He's not a guy who's going to sit there and go, I'm releasing the ball before the guy gets out of his break. Watch any game he's played this year. Okay? If you wanted to watch a guy do that on the Eagles, McKee does that. Any quarterback that has confidence in his arm and his accuracy does that. Hurts doesn't. By the way, 15-3. I'm going to take an M. Reyes. 15-3. Come on now, sir. Right. 15-3. Okay. Hey. So he's getting it done. But he's getting it done because they're limiting him. Jalen doesn't have to do much. Watching Sam Darnold getting sacked reminds me of Hurts in the game. Can get ugly if Hurts holds on to the ball like usual, blitzing him, sees what he does. I agree, John. I agree. You saw Darnold holding on to that ball last night. Wasn't trusting his eyes. Took a sack. Absolutely. That's a lot like it. However, okay, Jalen's got the ability to move out and run. You know one thing that Jalen won't do? Okay, Jalen will throw the ball away. Darnold didn't last night. Throw the fucking ball away, dummy. What's the biggest changes since the last time the Eagles and Rams played? The Rams are better, and the Eagles are more defined. Gabe, tell me, because you asked the question, do you not agree with this one? We were still trying to figure out what the Eagles were going to do. Now we know. Not going to throw the ball a lot. They're just not going to. They're going to power run, and they're going to play lights-out defense. The Rams have gotten healthier, and they have gotten the younger players more playing time, which means they're kind of like the 2022 Kansas City Chiefs, where a lot of those young guys early on were seeing reps for the first time. The Eagles didn't have to lean on a lot of rookies outside of Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell as much as the Rams had to lean on a lot of young players earlier in the season. Hence the 0-4 start or the 1-4 start, whatever it was. Okay? And they've grown up. I mean, they've grown up over the last 3 months or since that Eagle game. By the way, I want to be very clear here. The Eagles have a superior roster, and they're more physical up front in the offensive line. So don't get it twisted here. Still thinks that the Rams have – I didn't say that. But I say this to you. The Rams got more quality young players right now than you do. 2 guys are going to finish in the top 5 in Rookie of the Year. 1 guy's going to be the Rookie of the Year. And they got 3 starters that are rookies playing on that Rams team that are now in the divisional round. I mean, they get a lot out of their drafts. I'm not saying you didn't this year. Cooper DeJean completely changed the face and the attitude coming out of the bye of the defense. Mitchell's been great. Kind of faded a little bit, but I'm okay with his play as of late. You're now in championship part of the year. You're going to get beat, and you're going to win. I'm okay with it. I'm totally okay with the way Quinyon Mitchell's playing. I have no problem the way he's playing. Okay? None. Okay? Sills 3 times on 3rd and long, they conceded the drive, ran the ball, and punted. How can you win a Super Bowl when they don't trust Hurts to pick up 3rd and 10? I'm going to disagree with you, Kevin, and I'm going to tell you why. Punting is not a bad thing, ask Tom Brady. Learn to live another day. You're looking, if the one thing that you've learned about Tom Brady calling football games, what is the one thing that he believes in more than anything else? You know what that is? He plays the percentages. Why would I make that high-risk play when I can punt, get another opportunity at a low-risk play? Brady's looking for low risk. That's what the Eagles are doing right now. They know they have the roster to win the Super Bowl. Why should I stretch it and play high-risk football by throwing the football down the field? You notice the Eagles haven't thrown the football down the field? Okay? They have not thrown the ball down the field. Why should they? They're beating teams by running it and playing D. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Okay? Why would I do that? I wouldn't do it. There's no reason or necessity to play high-risk football. Did you see what the Packers did in that game when they were throwing the ball deep down the field? There was a turnover, overthrows, loss of possession. The Packers had to do that. The Eagles don't have to play like that. I thought that was dumb football and dumb play calling by LaFleur. I thought Matt LaFleur had a poor play calling game against Philly. I thought Vic forced him into a lot of shit. Those deep passes were completely off target the entire time. I mean, and then they got a pick on a deep throw. Why would the Eagles do that? When you have complete control of the game. If my quarterback throws a football in a game like that where they're throwing high percentage turnover plays, I'm going to win that game. And if my quarterback throws it 10 times, I'm going to win that game. You're the ones forcing mistakes, not me. Why should I force the mistakes? Okay? Why should I? There's no reason for it. I agree with Brady 100%. I am with him. I don't like high percentage turnover throws and plays when I don't have to do it. He's always asking, what's the means to the end here in that play? To get a yard? No, thank you. There's no reason for it. So they're playing the percentages. The Philadelphia Eagles right now believe that their style of play, if they don't turn the football over, will win ball games. We're going to find out if they're right. And I'll tell you something. 2 Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl win inside of 4 years. 3 years. I mean, I don't know what else to be said if that happens. We could make the argument Hurts is the greatest quarterback that the Eagles have ever had in leading and winning with that style of play. If they fail, you're the Bills. And then you can dissect it that way. Okay? I mean, that's where you are now. You're either going to be the Bills or you're going to start talking about something that could really be taking off. It's up to them. And right, Neil, 3 Super Bowls in 7 years. Not quite Kansas City, obviously. Not quite New England, obviously, but not bad. Okay? And remember something. Kansas City and New England, those are historic. A.J. Devontae in Dallas all excel at yards after the catch. Scheme up plays that get those guys into space quickly and let Hurts make easy throws. Sure. Trust playmakers on the outside to make things happen, like the Goddard touchdown. Yeah, man, those 5-yard passes, Goddard took it to the end zone. Goddard's got a great nose for the end zone. Absolutely. Supers go to the top. Please hit the like button. Guys, do me a favor. Give me a total on the likes. Oh, by the way, James Jones, are you in here? Jay Gruden, the former Washington Redskin head football coach who hired both Kevin O'Connell, Matt LaFleur, and also Sean McVay on his coaching staff. will be with us at 5:30 Eastern. Zander will be with us at 3:30. So Jay Gruden, the former head football coach of the Washington Commanders, Redskins, will be with us at 5:30. So we will talk with him at 5:30. He's the guy that had dual threat quarterback RG3. He's the guy that had to work with that asshole Daniel Snyder. Guy hired one of the greatest coaching staffs of all time. Take a look at that coaching staff and look at all the coaches that went on to become head football coaches that were on Jay Gruden's staff. You know who helped him hire him? John Gruden. And we'll also ask him about John Gruden and get his thoughts. Okay? Okay? So we appreciate it. Guys, do me a favor, please. Hit that like button. Thank you so much. So we're going to get my friend Jay Gruden on. I love Jay. Known Jay for, God, over 25 years I've known Jay Gruden. We've been friends for a long time. Sills, I feel like it's weird that we're worried our team would look like Detroit. Good offense, mediocre defense. And now we have a good offense, great defense. And now we're supposed to be concerned. Who said concerned? This is about style of play. You know, it's not concerned, dude. The question I ask you is, can you win a football Super Bowl game without a passing offense? And you guys are under the notion you can. Well, we're going to find out. You do not have a good passing game. End of story. End of story. That's irrelevant on January 14th. It's completely irrelevant. Okay? Completely irrelevant. So we'll find out. Get this. Marcus says we don't need an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl. I didn't ask you that. I asked you, can you win a Super Bowl with having a good passing game? Nobody in their right mind would think. John McMullen said it on Birds 365 today. The Eagles didn't build this team to be like this. I told you something early, and you guys just blew it off. All of you, people on my network, people around the city of Philly, I thought, and I said it from week 2 on, Saquon Barkley is going to change the narrative of how they call games. And he did. You know how he did? That's the Eagle front office doesn't want this team to look like this, but they're riding it. They're not going to stick with it. This is not what they paid for, but it's winning, and they're not going to upset it. Last year, the Philadelphia Eagle front office fucked this team up so bad with their dumb moves. This year, they kept it as it is. Let's get out of the way here and let's just run it. They learned from 23's mistakes on meddling midseason. They really did. They're biting the bullet. This is not how they built this. They did not build this team to have the 30th ranked passing offense. This is so far removed. This has a lot to do with the assistant coaches, with the players, with everything. How we got lucky. Everything how we built has not succeeded this year. You're saying, well, wait a minute, Sills, he brought Barkley in. He brought Barkley in not to be the feature on the you think that Howie Roseman signed Saquon Barkley to be the feature player on his team? Who would think that? Who would think that Howie would sign a free agent running back to be the centerpiece of his team after extending AJ and giving another extension to Devontae and the year previous paying a quarterback $50 million? Nobody on the planet thinks that they were going to sign Saquon Barkley and he'd be the featured player in the hub. It's not true. And if you think that, Well, I can't help you. Okay? But what they did this year, instead of the stupid shit they did last year, hey, man, are we really going to put our finger in a socket and electrocute ourselves again because we don't like the way this thing fucking looks? They're not doing that. Kudos. They actually got out of the way. And they allowed the team to go, okay, let's ride this wave. It's good football. It's good football. It's good football thinking in the process. Okay? Yeah. Samuel says they wanted to re-sign Swift. They didn't want Saquon. That's even more to the point of what I'm making. They didn't get in the way this year, though. Can you ask Jay about the choice to go with Kirk? I will. I know it, Leon. I'll let him say it. Okay? Leon, they rushed him back too soon. And the father had a lot to fucking do with that. You want to know something, Leon? Do me a favor. Google this. Who broke the story that RG3 was being traded from the Washington Redskins? And then do me a favor and come back and post. And I broke the national news. Okay? Google it. Bruce Allen, the president and general manager, came on my program. And I was doing a show on the Mighty 1090 in Southern California. And Bruce came on my program and broke the story they were trading him. And they were moving on from him. His dad wanted him to play right away. He wasn't healthy yet. I'll let Jay talk about it when it came to RG3 and how that whole thing was handled. Look how they handled the health of Trent Williams. They misdiagnosed him. Okay? They completely misdiagnosed him. That's why he wanted out. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think Trent Williams was drafted during Jay Gruden's time. Yeah, the Commanders ruined him. Totally did, man. Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate you guys very much. Please give me a that's right, Big Sills, the non-reporter. I'm not a reporter. I just know a lot of people. Okay? A lot of people come on my program. And just I'm not a reporter. Okay? Okay? I mean, so yeah, hey, do me a favor. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate that. Guys, do me a favor. Google it. My show broke that national story that they were going to trade RG3. I couldn't believe when he said it. I said, what are you going to do with RG3? He goes, yeah, we're moving on from him. We wish him nothing but the best. I was like, it hadn't gone national yet. I'm like, what? So the couple stories that I did really hang my hat on was when I broke the story that Vic went to Philadelphia. And I knew that Andy had signed him. I saw him signing his contract in Orlando. And when I saw him sign it, I knew it. I had 4 hours earlier that Vic was going to the Eagles. I just didn't know if I should report it live or not because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I had it 4 hours earlier. And I wanted to wait till the Monday night game. And then I went on my airwaves and I broke the story the Eagles signed Vic. And this other story here happened a couple years later that we had RG3 being traded. It just so happens people say shit on our show. Saw Angelo last week talking about stuff. So again, anyway, hit the like button, guys. We appreciate it. We know Michael Vick very well. We do have connections. I don't know how old the years. I guess it's 35 years in the business, being a former player and what have you. We've kept all of our great relationships that we've had. and why we're so well connected. Okay. Sills, how do you know so many people? I don't know. My wife tells you this. I have no idea. I really don't. People love to come on the program though and talk with us. I mean, what was it? A couple weeks ago, we had Jimmy Johnson and Tony Dungy on at the same day. I don't know. Okay, it's just I don't know. I think you're right, Eagle. I think he was cut. I think they cut him. I don't think they traded him. I think they cut him. Take a look at the article. All you have to do is Google it. That Bruce Allen came on the Mighty 1090 with me. And I think it might have been cut. I don't think they traded him. I think they cut him. You're right. I think they cut him. We need to rock back on, Sills. I'll work on it. Okay, get this. I say I don't know how I know all these people. Sills loves blowing himself. So I'm blowing myself because everyone comes on the program. Okay, I guess. And I tell you I'm not a reporter. I don't know how that's blowing myself. Okay, I guess. Okay. You're not fake. It's easy to talk to, Sills. I'm sure players and coaches are tired of the same restricted interviews they got to do for the majors. Absolutely, Reyes. I think that's got a lot to do with it too. And I know many of the people that know me, and they contact other people and they talk and they go, "You've been on a Sileo show?" They go, "Yeah, I love Dan." And many of these people we know very well. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys very much. Let's take a look at this now. Zander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Hit that like button, guys. Rams 2024 versus the Eagles. This is an early look. Okay? This is an early look at this game on Sunday. Okay? Rams, offensively. They enter this game on Sunday with the 15th ranked total offense. They've gotten better. About 331 a game. Eagles are 8th at 367. Passing. No shocker. They got a top 10 passing game. 227. The Eagles are 29th. 187.9 yards per game. How do I look at that now in the playoffs? I'm actually going to start pulling an M. Reyes. 15-3. It's not a thing yet. It's not a thing. No matter what I think of Jalen, that's not gotten in the way. Okay? That's not gotten in the way. I'm with you, Peter. You're right. Yet, because it inevitably will. But that's conjecture. Okay? That's conjecture. It hasn't happened yet. But, Peter, to your point, that's why you've played close games against shitty teams. Carolina, Jacksonville. Those are terrible football teams. In both instances, the opposing horrible teams had a chance to beat you. Okay? How's that possible? They have the last possession. What makes that? You're a dominant team, but you keep teams close because you're one-dimensional. Here, let me say this to you. If the Philadelphia Eagles, okay, if the Philadelphia Eagles had any kind of top 15 or 12 passing game, you would have blown teams out this year by 20 points or more. And you'd be talking about this football team I don't know if you would have lost the game. I don't know if you would have lost the game this year. Sills, we might be playing Washington at home. I don't think so. If you had a top 15 passing game, okay, you're probably undefeated. But because you don't, you keep other teams with the opportunity to beat you and upset you. You just keep teams in it. You kept the Packers in that game. Okay? You kept the Packers in the game. Okay? Get this. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I just said if you had a decent passing game, you'd be undefeated. What are you talking about? Did you get a chance to view the video breaking down the wide receivers being smothered during the game? That Dan Orlovsky stuff. I don't know. I think it was more about the offense being predictable because of Hurts. I mean, I'm not sure what Dan was talking about. Are you blaming the wide receivers, the coordinator, or are you blaming the quarterback? Who are you blaming? The coordinator's 15-3. Also, if you give Jalen Hurts the 15-3, the coordinator 15-3. They're synonymous with one another. So wait, Sills, the passing game's not good. Okay. What's the record? 15-3. Well, fuck, the coordinator must be exceptional then. What you don't want to do is you have to give Kellen more credit for the wins, and you don't want to do that. You'd rather bag on him for not having a good passing offense instead of giving him more credit for putting the team in the position that they're in. That's sad. Kellen Moore's been the best coordinator you've had since Nick Sirianni's been the head coach. Why? Because it doesn't matter if the quarterback plays well or not. He just doesn't have to turn the ball over. You're 15-3, and you're talking about one of the great runs here, potentially. He gets credit, too, for it. He gets credit, too. Well, still, Jalen hasn't gotten better. Well, they decided that Jalen's not the centerpiece. That's why I said Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley was not brought here to be the centerpiece. He was brought here to be like a Christmas ball on a Christmas tree. Jalen's supposed to be the Christmas tree, but he's not. Okay? I mean, Kellen Moore is winning ball games for you. If you don't like the way Jalen's playing, okay, I get it. I don't either. But the coordinator doesn't either. He just wins. By the way, Kellen Moore's a winner. He doesn't put the stats up. He's a winner. Works for him too. Okay? It works for him. Last year's coordinator, figure this out. And let me give you exactly the difference between Brian Johnson and Kellen Moore. What was AJ's numbers last year? 1,500 yards receiving, right? 100 catches. Hurts had 3,900 yards passing. Devontae had 1,000 yards. You know what it got you? Nothing. This year, Hurts' numbers are down. You know what it's gotten you? 15-3. And now you're on to the divisional round of the playoffs, and you won a playoff game. So which is it? Is Kellen Moore a bad coordinator? How the fuck did Kellen Moore have a bad game this last week when his team won by 11 points? The idea of an offensive coordinator is to win the game, not to make you look good. This is not a beauty pageant. This is about going around and winning football games and advancing. You can say whatever you want about your coordinator, but your coordinator's winning. You guys won 15 ball games for you. Okay? AJ missed 4 games, and if AJ played 17, he'd have 1,400. Okay? Sure. Too bad that's not reality. Okay? When you block the way you do and the style of play you do, I don't believe that they would have been throwing the football more when you have a 2,000-yard running back. So really, get this. He may have been up near 11, 12, 1,300 yards, but Devontae's numbers would have shrank even more his numbers would have shrank. Hit that like button. I appreciate it. So let me finish here with the Rams here. Zander will be at the bottom of the hour at 3:30. Then we'll talk with Jay Gruden, former Redskin head coach. That'll be at 5:30. 227 or 10th in passing. Eagles are 30th or 29th. Rush. The Rams are 24th. It's gotten better over the last month with Corinne Williams. The Eagles, obviously, great running attack, 179 yards a game. They're second to the Ravens. Scoring, Rams are 20th, 21-6. The Eagles are 7th at 27-2. Red zone, 42-4, 25. They're 25th, the Rams. Let me tell you, the last month and a half, they've gotten better. And red zone, they're 57-4, they're 13th. Third down, Rams are 23rd, and the Eagles are 10th. So again, the Rams offense has picked it up over the last month because of health, obviously. This is where the advantage is here for the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion, against the Rams. And I do think the Rams have, again, like I said, under Shula, have gotten a little bit better defensively here. They're 26th in total defense. The Eagles are first. Pass defense. The Rams are 20th. The Eagles are first. You go from 31st to first. It's utterly remarkable. Run defense. The Rams are 22nd. The Eagles are 10th. I don't care if you're in the top 10. Once you're in the top 10, you got just as good a defense as any team in the top 5 because the numbers are so close. So the Eagles really had a great run defense, and I think it's held up pretty much the entire season. It's really been a good job here. Scoring, Rams are 17th, Eagles are 2nd, giving up only 17. Red zone, they play good red zone. Do the Rams. They're 5th. They're tied with the Eagles at 5th. Third down, they're 20th, and the Eagles are 3rd. Look at these defensive numbers for the Eagles this year. They've been exceptional. First in total, first in pass, 10th in rushing, 2nd in scoring, 5th in red zone, 3rd in red zone, and third down is exceptional. This will go down, in my opinion, as a Buddy Ryan type of defensive effort this year. That's one of the best defensive football teams the Philadelphia Eagles have ever had in the Super Bowl era. It's really a great year for what those guys did. And you know what they did it with? Limited pass rushing. Just limited pass rushing. They really, I mean, if you look at their pass rushing this year, it's been suspect at best. Okay? I mean, we're talking like, yeah, it's gangrene type stuff, except with not having exceptional players on it. You don't have a Reggie White, a Jerome Brown. Zach Bond is a superstar player. The rest of the guys, Jalen Carter is a great football player with the potential to be a superstar player. He's almost there. But the rest of them are just dudes kind of all fitting in and fitting into being really, really a good unit. Look, you got a better unit than you have superstar players. That's okay. I'd rather have the unit. It's not a rip. Would you rather be number one in defense skills across the board? Or would you rather have 4 stars like the Dallas? Hey, would you rather be the Dallas Cowboys and have those all-pro corners and Michael Parsons? Or would you rather have the Philadelphia Eagle defense? I'd rather have the Eagle defense. You can keep Parsons. He's a non-factor. Michael Parsons is a non-factor. Okay? Slay's not an elite player anymore. He's a really good player. And remember something. When you play 97% of the time in zone, he is a really good zone corner. He's not a lockdown corner. They don't play lockdown corner. There's no such a thing. A zone guy is not a lockdown corner. That's a miss. It's more the scheme that locks it down. Okay? Micah Parsons, Brand, Diggs, you can keep them. I'd rather have the Eagle defense. I don't need to have those big name. See, the Cowboys like big name guys. The Eagles like a good unit. I'll take the good unit every day. That's kind of what Kansas City has. You got one centerpiece player at the quarterback. And the rest of those guys are dudes. Some really exceptional guys in the O-line. Creed and guys are dudes. And Travis on the back nine. He's not what he was. It's the quarterback. Okay? Dude, you don't need Micah Parsons. Get a kid in the draft. Put him on the other end of Nolan Smith. Replace Josh Sweat. Get a younger body in there. I love that kid Chop. I told you to get him. Okay? Chop Robinson had a really nice year with the Dolphins. He's a good-looking player. I thought the kid Verse was another guy, but he just, remember, Vic kind of tipped his hand. They wanted Verse. Rams took him. Okay, you can't have everybody. Shit, the guy Fisk is great. Those two FSU guys are really good ball players. I think they're undersized, though. They're going to get manhandled. Look, I'll say it again, and I want to make sure we're underlining this. Seriously, you don't really think the Rams have the personnel to hang with the Eagles? No. The only thing you've got to be concerned about is this: underperforming and Stafford overperforming. That's it. That's it. You hear what I said? The only thing you have to worry about is the Eagles underperforming and Stafford overperforming. And that really is where they are. Somebody asked me today, Sills, what do you make of the Rams game last night against the Vikings? I thought the Rams played exceptionally well. I thought Minnesota got beat up so bad by Detroit, cost them 2 games. Darnold underperformed in the last 2 weeks, cost himself millions of dollars. That guy had a chance to go out and make himself $45 million. Okay? And get this, 6 months of work he did. 6 months of work. 4,300 passing yards, 40 touchdowns. All of that was erased in 2 games and 8 quarters. That was all erased. Because, again, at the end of the day, you're paying for a guy, you may not know it if he can win a Super Bowl. But the last 8 quarters, Sam Darnold exposed himself. You're not going to pay for that. How many times, when the Eagles gave Jalen Hurts $50 million, you know what they're paying for? The belief he can bring me and win me a Super Bowl. Not knowing he can. Nobody knows that yet. If he can win one. And he's gotten close. He got paid because there's belief he can do it. Are you going to pay Sam Darnold $50 million after the last 8 quarters? I don't believe he can do it. And he had an exceptional year. Exceptional year. Won 14 games. Had a chance to win. Get this. Here's what I think of Sam Darnold now. I think Sam Darnold is good enough, but not good enough to win it. That's where he's at. Whatever you want to pay for that. And I think there's going to be a lot of teams out there that will pay for that. I do. Would it shock me if the Steelers go down the Sam Darnold route? No. Would it shock me if the Seahawks maybe go down that route? No. Again, 14 tremendous wins. Unfortunately, it was erased. Okay? Remember what we said, too. They got a great roster. Just didn't know what the guy was going to do. We've been saying it for the last 3 weeks. He had a great year. Great year. But what's he going to look like in the postseason? Saying it for 3 weeks. What's he going to look like? Even heading into the game last night, we were saying, man, that Vikings roster's great. We completely blew up last night because the quarterback stunk. It's going to make it easier to go to J.J. McCarthy. Okay? By the way, they won just as many games as you did. 2 games. Hey, and by the way, they had a better shot to win home field than you did this year because of Darnold's play. You had no shot at winning home field. It came down between the Vikings and Lions because of the way he played. 8 quarters erased out. All of that. Get this. Spinbat says, easy schedule. They played in the toughest division in the NFL. How's it an easy schedule? Easy schedule. That's bullshit. If it's such an easy schedule, why did they have the tiebreaker? Not you. You had no shot at home field. Okay? You know why you had no shot? Because they played a tougher schedule. Okay, you can, whatever you want to say. They played a tougher schedule than you. That's how it played out at the end of the year. I mean, I know what you're talking about. You had no chance at home field. They did. They were in the 2-hole when it came to home field. They lost it, went to 5. I mean, he earned that ability in what he played like this year. And as I said, they erased it. Dude, I'm not debating you on fucking schedules. I'm debating you on facts. Not even debating you. That's how it played out at the end of the year. That game at the end of the year against the Lions came down between 2 teams. There was no third team in it. End of story. Okay. And I said, this will make it easier for them to go to J.J. McCarthy. I don't know what they're going to do with Darnold. Are they going to invite him back? I don't know. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button. We appreciate it. Zander's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Jay Gruden, the former Redskin head coach, will join us at 5:30. I got to ask this question. Let me give it to you how I phrased it here on my X account. And I want to make sure we do this correctly here on how I posted this on my X account. What did I say here? Okay. I want to make sure, and I want to ask you if you guys buy this. Big Fish goes, Sills, how important is changing plays or hiding play calls? What are the other teams to keep the defense guessing? Hurry up. That's right. Quicken the pace. Don't let the personnel come in. Up tempo. That's correct. Okay. I mean, and again, audibles are some of the most important things. I'm assuming you're bringing this up because they got an earful and they got an understanding of what the Eagle offense was in the first game. How much is that going to play into the second game? And will there be some manipulating and names of the plays, audibles and such, and the pacing? Because the Rams got a game plan of it and they got a lot of tape of it. And believe me, I'll tell you what, Big Fish, it's a great question. It's an insightful question. Okay? What you do is you got a guy that will watch the plays, and you got a guy that will watch and listen, and he'll hear the quarterback calling something out, and he'll mark down. Okay, I'll give you from my time. Black 81. That was Montana's check. Excuse me, Black 80. That was the check. It was talking to Rice. Black 80 square, black 80 square. Hitch post, black 80 square. Everyone knew that Montana was changing the play. Okay, that's not going to change. The second part of that equation, instead of going square, they may say banjo, or they may say Tiger Woods, or they may do something different. Square side, square side. Changing the verbiage is important, especially when you play a team. That's why when you play in interdivision and you play multiple times, say you play the Giants, you play the Cowboys, you know the audibles. You know the checkdowns. You know the slide protections. That's why those games are always closer. They're not going to fool you because you know what they're going to do? They're not going to change their audible systems for an interdivision game. It confuses everybody, them included. Okay? I mean, so it's a great question. Do the Rams have somebody, you know, the guy that got caught up in Michigan doing all that shit and scouting? What do you think he was scouting? He was listening for the name of the play, and he was drawing the play, and he was writing it down. And then what he would do is he would look over on the sidelines to see if anybody was hand checking or signaling in, and there was a way that they were signaling that play in. So what he would do is he would go to Harbaugh, whatever you believe, and he would go to Harbaugh or the coordinators and say, okay, when you hear this, they're going to go to this, and you can get it right out of the beginning because they're going to signal it in this way. You know those big charts in college that they put up? Guys are taking pictures of those. It's like stealing signs in baseball. It's totally like stealing signs in baseball. Okay? I mean, it's not really illegal. It's gamesmanship. I don't find any issue with it. Okay? I just don't. Okay? I mean, Sills, I'd be happy with Kellen moving on to head coach and getting someone from the McVay tree with innovative offensive design. I'll tell you something, though, Sam. When you make those comments, you sound like me. And here, where you're talking about you don't like the method and what it looks like. And I agree with you. I don't think the Eagles like the method. Because you know why? We know the Eagles. Get this guy. And Sam, the Eagles don't like the method that they're winning right now. They're tolerating it. Do you understand? They're tolerating it. How do you know, Sam, how do you know the Eagles don't like the way they're winning? How do you know this? That they don't like the way they're winning? Somebody with some brains here. Okay, not somebody who's going to cry in what I'm saying. Why? How do you know they don't like the way they're winning? Okay? How do you know this? Money. How they built the team. They don't have to say it. They can lie to you. But that's not how they're paying them. That's right, Sam. $140 million. $140 million in 3 guys. They can tell you all they want. But at the end of the day, they're not happy with the way they're winning. They're tolerating it. They're tolerating it. That's right, Neil. Follow the dough. You want to know how a team's built. Follow the money. Or follow the lack of money. Do you understand the job that Vic Fangio has done this year with no money on that side of the ball? They spent no money except for one player, Gardner Johnson. They didn't spend a cent more. Do you understand that? Who did they spend money on? They did not spend a cent except for Gardner Johnson on defense. They didn't spend any money. No, they didn't spend money on Huff. That's not true. Tell people that are saying Bryce Huff why they didn't spend any money on Huff. Tell people that they never spent a cent on Huff. Tell them why. Tell them why. Vaughn's making $1.5 million. Tell the people that are saying they spelt, there you go, Eagle fan. Huff replaced the overpriced Reddick. They didn't spend any money. They moved money. They didn't spend more. They were making pretty much the same. They didn't spend more. Maybe a couple million more, but nothing crazy. Okay? I mean, they spent money on one guy. And that guy turned that defense from chicken shit into the number one defense in the league. Unbelievable. Unbelievable financially. Unbelievable player development-wise. Unbelievable that he made draft picks that were dogs look great. Incredible job of coaching. An absolute transformation of so many players. It's unbelievable. And they didn't spend money doing it. That's the criminal part of the offense. They spent all that money, and it was shit results in the passing game. That's why people are a little miffed. Everything you thought. Do you remember the predictions you guys had at the beginning of the year? How you guys thought you were going to score 34 points, 33 points a game. Hurts was going to have 4,700 yards and all that. It never transpired. That's disappointing. Vic Fangio has been unbelievable financially. Unbelievable. Hey, do I think, quite frankly, that Oren Burks is going to shit? No, I think Oren Burks is probably going to play pretty efficient. You know, somebody asked the question in here, Sills, what do you do to help Burks? Nothing. Get out there and play. The guys in front have had a good year. Davis and Carter have done something this year they didn't do a year ago. You know what that was? They didn't run out of gas. They look like pros in week 18, 19 now. Last year, they didn't look like pros. They looked like young players and unprepared players. This year, they're both. They're prepared. Hey, would I like more production out of Jordan Davis? Absolutely. But you know what I'll take? One step at a time with him. So he was in shape in week 18, 19. Had a pretty good game last week. Okay, had a pretty good game. And he was playing like that in week 18. I'll tell you, that was one of the most impressive things for me. When you go back and watch the 22 and the way he played in week 18 compared to the way he played in week 18 last year, go back and watch that. It is a different guy. I believe that's Vic Fangio and Clint Hurt. Seals, what are your thoughts on Tanner and his future development? I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he needs more reps. I wish there was a developmental league that they could send him to get him more reps like they had back in the day with the World League. I'd like to play him a ton in the upcoming preseason, get him as many reps as I can possibly get. He needs just more playing time. I'm not saying he's ready to take over his team. He's not. I mean, but look, he has all the fundamental skill sets. He's smart. He's tall. He's big. He's got a big arm. He understands. He processes the information exceptionally well. He moves his head around. And get this, you know what he does really well? He moves passing lanes with his eyes and his head. He's got a knack for that. Okay? Yeah, that's right. I love that, Dave. I love the eyeball test. You know, the eyeball test is one of the most important things because most people sometimes, what people will do, Dave? They will overthink shit because they think they know better and not trust their eyes. What are you seeing? I mean, first start there. What do you think? I mean, what are you seeing with the player? He drops back well. He's got great feet. He stands tall. He's constantly looking downfield. All the intangibles. He does, get this, I disagree with people. I think he does move well out in the perimeter. He just needs more reps at throwing on the run. Is he going to be, he's got a game like Roethlisberger. He could be something like that. Ben's not going to take off and be some speed merchant. But Ben moved around in the pocket, got out in the perimeter, created passing lanes. He's a big, goofy 6'6" guy himself. He could be something like that if you coach it right. The problem that you have in Philly is that the interchangeable coordinators you have, it's tough to develop a quarterback in Philadelphia because you don't know who's back every year. You don't have stability at that position. I would make this point to you. The most unattractive job in NFL has to be the Philadelphia Eagles coordinating jobs, except for now with Vic at 70. Vic's not getting a head job. He's not going anywhere. They pretty much put that and staple that in for the next couple of years. He ain't good. I don't believe he's going to get an opportunity to be a head coach again at 70. Any coordinator you bring in Philly, he's either going to get canned or he's going to get elevated to a head coaching job. Isn't that what it's been? Coordinator 2 years ago got a head coaching job in Indianapolis. Last year's guy got fired. This year's guy's being pursued for head coaching jobs. It's hit or miss. How do you develop a quarterback in the current one you have when you're hitting and missing on coordinators? Kind of tough to do that, isn't it? Vic made it sound like both Burks and Trotter will split reps the next game. Yeah, because what they're going to do is, remember something. Why do you think they're going to split reps? Hopefully somebody's intelligent enough to understand this. Hopefully both play great. I wonder if they both will have the green dot, can't have two green dots. Why do you think they're splitting time? The Rams are playing for their city like New Orleans did in 2008 with the wildfires and hurricanes. So we better come prepared. No more excuses for Jalen. Lord's grace. You think that? Okay, that's fine. Big Sills, what percentages of advantage would you give it to having one extra day off than opponents in your experience of flying across the country? I fucking hate flying across the country. I just absolutely hate that. And I think that's a big deal for the Rams having to fly to LA or to Philadelphia. They both play special teams. That's why there's rotations. Okay? Whoever is going to play better on Sunday, Trotter or Burks, they're going to get the majority of the reps. But they both play special teams. They've got to be cognizant of that. They can't suffer in that. Here, this is what you don't want. You don't want to get a guy hurt playing in the regular lineup, and then it affects special teams, and you give up a special teams play to the Rams, and they get a TD out of it. See, Nakobe Dean's injury not only affects, you know what everybody's talking about? I heard Zander and those guys on Birds 365 talking. You know what they said? What is Nakobe Dean's injury? How does that affect the Eagle defense? It affects the entire team. He doesn't only affect the defense, he affects special teams. You understand this, right? Because now you have to elevate two guys. And where did they get those players from? Special teams. So Dean's injuries affected two teams, the starting defense and special teams. So it's a significant blow. Not just the fact the player was playing well. Okay? All right. I got a question I'm going to ask Zander out of the gate here. By the way, all supers go to the top. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button. I appreciate everybody. I promise you, we will get to every super chat. Without further ado, by the way, man, interesting. In my opinion, don't concern yourself with the Rams. Worry about you. Your roster is better. And I said it earlier. The only way that I think you lose this ball game, Stafford overachieves and you underperform. That's it. Okay? They've got the play caller. But that shouldn't matter. Are they better than the Packers? They are better than the Packers. Because you know why? They won a Super Bowl 3 years ago. Okay? Same duo, McVay and Stafford and Cup. They won a Super Bowl. It's not that far ago. All right. Without further ado, we've had a great week so far out of the gate here and getting ready for the divisional round. I think this is the best week in football, NFL-wise. You're going to get the best games. Last week's games stunk. You want to hear something crazy? That Packers and Eagle game got 36 million people watching it. 36 million people watched that freaking football game this past weekend, which is insane great. Those are old school Super Bowl numbers. Okay. Without further ado, our good friend, Big Z, Zander Krause.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
All good, man. Jacked up?
I'm jacked up. I'm feeling good, man. I like this matchup. I know, it's funny, we talked about yesterday who we wanted to face least, and I think you saw real quick unfold why I preferred to play the Vikings in this next week game. But we got the Rams, and it should be a good one, Brent. Should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it, though.
Last night, my takeaway again from the Rams and the way they played, did it change my opinion at all that the game could be closer on Sunday against the Eagles? The only way that game was closer, again, like I said, is if they stumble around like they did a little bit against the Packers and they keep them in it. Green Bay is not a team that's playing as good as the Rams are. Like Vic said today, you take that start and you take the last game of the year, they're 10-2. Okay, in that time frame.
Yeah.
Over that period. They're a well-coached football team. They've got a lot of young talent. And in the last month, they've played better. But again, that front five, that front seven, I just think they're going to be physically outmatched because
that's what I think, yeah.
They're a smaller group. So you know what they're going to have to do, Zander? They're going to have to move those guys around a lot, which means they're going to have to gamble in this game on Sunday if they're going to win.
Yeah, and I just don't see how. So I don't think they have the bodies in the room to even compete or match the size and physicality of the Eagles' offensive line. And it might